Stampers, it's Kim Vogel with the Basement Bunch Stampers, and I'm here for another terrific Tuesday video. Today I'm going to share with you a really fun and cute embossing technique and sponging technique that I use to create this fun card. This is actually a new stamp set that is out in our holiday catalog. The stamp set that I use to create this card is called the Dashing Deer Stampset. And I love this stamp set. I'll be doing a class either in, probably not till November, utilizing this stamp set, but I love it. I love the textured look to this deer. I love everything about it. This is in our holiday catalog, and it actually comes with some coordinating framelits. So let me show you those as well. Now, I did not use the framelits on the card today. So you can get the stamp set on its own. It's $22 for clear mount. If you want to get the bundle, which incorporates in those framelits that will cut out all of these different shapes, you can get the bundle for $50.25. And I love the samples that we have here in the catalog as well. So with that, let me share with you some of the other products that I used on this card today. I used our gold foil paper. This is from our annual catalog. You get 2 sheets of 12 by 12 paper for $5. I also incorporated in our layering circles framelits. These framelits are a must-have for anyone's collection because there's so much you can do with circles. And then I also incorporated in the, again from our annual catalog, the bunch of banners framelits. And these framelits I love. There's a stamp set that coordinates with them as well. But I used this banner piece right here, and I cut out a banner with my gold foil paper. And then I just layered a Merry Christmas sentiment in the middle of that. And that is just used, I did fussy cutting on that to cut out that Merry Christmas. So let's go ahead and get started. And I'm going to share with you some of the measurements that I used in today's card. So my card base today is a piece of Night of Navy, and this is cut 5.5 by 8.5, and it's scored at 4 1/4. So that becomes our card base. I then cut a piece of the gold foil. The gold foil is cut 5 1/4 by 4, and this piece of paper right here is cut 5 by 3 3/4. Now this paper is from the joyous Noel, which is also in our holiday catalog. And I'm not sure if you guys saw before I kind of rushed that gold foil piece of paper out, but I want to show you what I've done with this. So because I'm only using this as a mat around the outer edges, I can use all of that on the inside to cut out pieces for my card. So that is exactly what I did. I cut out my circle, my layering circle from that. And I also cut out the banner for this piece down here for the card. You just want to make sure that you leave enough of an outer edge so that when you layer this card together, you cannot see that you've cut that out when you adhere it down to your card. And that is a really smart way to use that gold foil without having to waste the whole piece of a 5 1/4 by 4. I love that technique. So if you haven't, or that little tip and trick, I should say, so if you haven't seen that done before, I encourage you to think about that because it's an awesome way to incorporate other elements onto your card that you wouldn't otherwise be using different foil for anyway. So, okay, so with that, I want to show you the sponging that I used to create this card. In advance, I have done some heat embossing with the gold embossing powder. Again, just to save a little bit of time for today's project. I've used the Night of Navy ink, and I've used the Smoky Slate ink. And what I did is I'm going to start with the Smoky Slate ink, and I did a little bit of sponging with my Smoky Slate on the very bottom of this deer. And I just go in some circular motions, getting some ink off of my ink pad there, and I'm just going to kind of make this look like it's a little bit of frosted snow, and I'm just going to kind of blend it right up into this part of the deer. Okay, so just like that. And you're going to want to make sure you get those edges pretty good because you want, again, to have it all covered up. And then using Night of Navy. Now, Night of Navy you want to be really careful with because this color by default is pretty dark. So you can see that you don't want to get a whole lot of ink on your sponge. But I'm going to actually start off and then move on to my project. And that just kind of helps me not to have a whole clump of ink maybe where I don't really want it. So I'm starting off my project and moving on. Do you see how I'm doing that? In a circular motion. And you can go as dark or as light as you want on this. Now my sample, let me bring my sample in. I went fairly dark, so I'm going to kind of keep on going with this for a little bit more. And you can see how I'm kind of blending in to that smoky slate as well. And I'm going to actually leave it that color right there. From there, what I did is I used our Wink of Stella. Now, if you have not used Wink of Stella yet, I encourage you to get Wink of Stella. Wink of Stella is a glitter pen, glitter brush, and it's only $8 in our annual catalog. And I am just going to kind of go over top of this smoky slate color and add a little bit of the dazzling look to this. And then what I did, I'm not sure if you can see on my sample, I did some splatters of the Wink of Stella on there as well. And so how I did that is I just, let me pull this out of the way so you guys can see. I squeezed my pen to get a little bit more of the Wink of Stella into my tip of my brush. Now I'm hoping it works. There it comes. And then all I did is on top of this, I simply kind of splattered with my Wink of Stella to get some of this in a couple little spots where I wanted it. So you kind of get the gist of that. You can see how I got some little splatters on there. Really cool and pretty, right? And then what you're going to do, and since this has to dry, I should have adhered it in advance, but you're just going to simply adhere this down to your gold foiled layering circle. And then from there, it's just a matter of layering all this stuff together. So I'm going to find my snail here, and I'm going to layer this piece of Designer Series paper. Again, this is from the Joyous Noel. And if you look in the description of this video, I will have all of the measurements there, as well as a list of all of the supplies that I used on today's project. This ribbon that I'm using here as well is the gold trim ribbon. This is also in our holiday catalog. And all I'm going to do here is cut a little piece just big enough to kind of go around my base of my card. Now, normally I use glue dots and I forgot to grab them. So I'm just going to run a little bit of snail adhesive on the two sides there where I want this to go. And I am going to put this around behind here and just kind of fold it around here like that. And then I'm going to make sure I have some good adhesive onto this piece as well. This is then going to be layered down onto my base of my card like that. And then, and again, like I said, I don't want to, maybe I'll put some adhesive on this. So you can always improvise and add adhesive to the opposite side than what you would normally do. I'm going to glue that together, and that's going to get adhered down there with some dimensionals. And then from there in advance, I've cut out my Merry Christmas. Now my Merry Christmas greeting comes from the Cross-Stitched Christmas stamp set, and I love this one as well. And this is a great stamp set to use with your Stamparatus. It lines up perfectly with all of those three stamped images. I love the look you get from that. And I may be doing a card on that to share with you in the coming weeks as well. And then from there, I simply adhered my Merry Christmas onto my little banner piece that I've cut out, and adhere that with dimensionals as well. So let me bring in my sample and show you both cards here. Aren't they beautiful? I love that. So there's lots of little things that you can do with sponging that just makes your cards look beautiful and makes it kind of look like an awesome little wintry scene there. So anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's card. I look forward to your comments and your feedback. Again, if you're not part of my group yet, please feel free to search for me on at kimsbasementbunch.com to subscribe to my blog. I'm also on Facebook. All of my links for all of my social media platforms are in the description of this video. I'd love to have you follow along as I do my Facebook Lives on Thursday, videos on Tuesdays, and so on and so forth. So thank you all so very much for stopping by today. I hope you've enjoyed this great card, and I look forward to seeing you all back here next week. Have a great week. Bye.